Hello and welcome to closure or closed sets. When we talk about sets of numbers being closed, what that means is that if you have a group of numbers and then you do an operation to those numbers, that the answer you get is also in that group. So if we were thinking about integers, integers are numbers that are whole numbers, right? Positive or negative, but not fractions and not decimals. So if I have this group of integers, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, -1, -2, all those numbers are inside there. If I add any two of them together, will the answer that I get also be in this group? If I take 2 plus 3, that's fine. That's an integer. That's still in there. Any numbers that I take and I add together, I'm going to get an integer as an answer. So we would say they are closed under addition. Because if I add any two members of this group, I get something else within this group. Subtraction. If I subtract two numbers, 10 minus 7, there's an example. I get 3. That's an integer. You can pick any two numbers you like, subtract them, and you're going to get another integer. So we would say integers are closed under subtraction. Multiplication. If I take two numbers, 2 times 3, that's 6. It's in there. 3 times 5, that's 15. That's in there. Are there anything you can think about that we could multiply that wouldn't be in there? I can't think of anything. It's closed under multiplication. But for division, think about that. If I take 6 divided by 2, that's 3. That's good. That's in there. But what if I take 3 divided by 2? Well, that is 1.5. That is not an integer. He is not in this group. So I found an example where I take two numbers that are in the group, and when I divide them, I get something that's not in the group. That means that it's not closed for division. You're going to be asked to look at different groups of numbers. What about even numbers? If I add two even numbers, will I always get an even? What about odd numbers? What about prime numbers? What about polynomials? Things that have multiple terms. If I take a polynomial and I add it to another polynomial, will I get a polynomial? If the answer that you get is also in the group, it's closed. If the answer that you get is not in the group, it's not closed. That's how it works. Hopefully that makes sense.